Let's start with trade. President Xi Jinping is here amongst tremendous uncertainty right now between Beijing and Washington. Are you worried about a global trade war?
Yes, in general. Global trade war is very detrimental for economic growth. Trade was a huge facilitator of the growth for the global economy. And we have benefited a lot from this growth, all of us. Communities, people, quality of life grow up substantially, especially in the developing world.
What about for Severstal?
We have benefited as well. We are deeply immersed in the global trade. About 1/3 of our total output goes for export in various countries. And of course, we are pledged to the global trade evolution, yeah.
Steelmakers in Europe are under a lot of pressure right now. ArcelorMittal cut some production. You're the same market cap as them. But in Russia, you're doing very well. How long do you think this trend will last?
Who knows? I wish to know. But first of all, we see fundamentals in the Russian market. We have, first of all, very effective production, manufacturing based on the low cost of factors on one hand, and efficient manufacturing. We have one of the best in the world industrial KPIs. As a result, Severstal has demonstrated best in the world EBITDA margin for last 2 years. And it's one of the enablers of our economic prosperity. On the other hand, Russia fundamentally grows. And we see national projects, we see certain consumption. We expect construction will grow this year.
But European steelmakers are now lobbying policymakers to put a cap on imports, cheaper imports from Turkey and Russia. How are you worried about this? How much could this hurt you?
Well, first of all, we had this policy before. It was caps for many years for all our export to Europe in the form of quotas. And we don't have free trade with Europe still. We have quotas and we have a custom.
But they might get harsher.
Yes, it might be the outcome, but, well, it's always a matter of proper balance. We don't like to hurt the European market, for sure, because we are interested, we have vested interest in the European market as well, being supplier. But what is important to bear in mind that we have customers in Europe, means somebody needs our product, and without this product, supply-demand balance would be badly impacted against the interest of consumers. We'd like
I don't know if Lakshmi Mittal would agree with you on that.
No, I'm not Lakshmi Mittal for sure, it's obvious. But yes, we would like European industry, steel industry, be stable and prosperous as well. And we would like, first of all, our European customers to prosper. And for this, we should keep certain export to Europe to the interest of our customers. But it should be done in a balanced way. And as I said, cap system, quota system is not, which is something unique and new for us. That's right.
Staying in Europe, you have a stake in the region's biggest travel provider, TUI. But that's your only investment in Europe. Why? Is it the sanctions environment?
Not at all. And in spite of sanctions, I have investments in Europe still, which is an indication that we are not afraid of sanctions. I don't feel sanctions in day-to-day life. But for us, investments is a matter of economic logic. So far, we have better opportunities in Russia. As we discussed, Russia is growing. Russia is demonstrating a lot of potential. I hope, of course, Russia has certain impediments and certain obstacles, but I'm sure that Russia will overcome it with time, and it creates a lot of opportunities for business people like me. Because of it, we invest more in Russia. So you're
not worried about sanctions? You could see harsher sanctions.
No, of course we are worried about sanctions, and it could be harsher, no doubts about it. But I can't say that sanctions have impacted us so much that impeded our investments everywhere or anywhere. And yes, but we are worried about sanctions. Sanctions became very unpredictable, absolutely irrational. You don't understand even why it was imposed. And, well, of course, it's a risk factor.
I want to talk about one of your recent investments. That was Lenta, which, for our American audience, it's like a Walmart, Costco type place. But you already are the largest shareholder in the largest internet retail food. There's a lot of competition in this market to become the next Amazon. Russia hasn't seen that. Do you want to be the next Jeff Bezos of Russia or the next Amazon of Russia?
I'm sure I don't like for sure to be Jeff Bezos. I'm Alexey Mordashov and he is a Jeff Bezos. But I definitely like to follow the best role model in retail, which Amazon probably looks like now. Or I would probably say that Amazon is more advanced than anybody else. But I believe that, like many others, that future in retail is in omni-channel approach. And I believe that we are at the threshold of big step change in retail globally and in Russia specifically as well. and we have to develop new offer for customers, new unique value proposition, providing customers more convenience, better choice.
So you're going to link these two businesses you already have a stake in together?
I believe that this best proposition could be based on the classical approach, various channels like convenience stores, supermarket, hypermarkets, supermarkets, and also online for sure. And definitely we would like to research and use synergies between both companies first. We don't like to facilitate any merger. We should respect interest of minority shareholders. We would like to keep public status of Lenta. We have 79% of shares after the tender offer, and we believe that it's important to keep public status of Lenta. And but strategically, once upon a time when circumstances will be mature enough, probably it makes sense to merge both to avoid conflict of interest, to protect interest of minorities, but it should be proper evaluations done by professionals in interest of, we should not hurt, we don't like to hurt anybody or threaten anybody, and we would like to respect our minorities. But once upon a time, probably it will come to the...
Are there any other peers of like Lenta in this space that you could potentially buy to make it an Amazon?
It's too premature to make any judgment. Of course, non-organic growth, of course, growth in retail and non-organic growth is in our agenda in general, but we don't have any specific projects yet. We have to understand Lenta. We bought our stake just before yesterday. It's not enough. I became chairman of Lenta yesterday. Literally.
Brand new news.
Yes, it's very brand new. It's very fresh. We have to understand better. I don't understand Lenta well enough. We have to understand Lenta better. We have to develop with Lenta new model of retail.